Hey everyone, welcome back. You ready to dive deep into something really interesting?
Let's do it.
All right, so today we're tackling college fight songs.
Oh, this is going to be fun. Everyone loves a good fight song.
Exactly. But we're going beyond just the catchy tunes and looking at the lyrics. Because believe it or not, they can reveal a lot about culture and how it changes over time, even how regions see themselves.
Oh, yeah. The soundtrack of Saturday afternoons. But we're going deeper than just the catchy tunes and school spirit.
Way deeper.
Data on the screen, numbers come alive. Male-female flows where the patterns thrive. Visual charts, public colors unify. Gender decoded, bringing truth to light. Watch them all drum fill. We break it down, real talk. Trends unveiling, facts from every block. Here's your insight, watch the data glide. Gender decoded, let the beats collide.
You wouldn't think a song meant to get fans hyped up at a game would be so deep.
I know, right? It's pretty amazing. And get this, sometimes these fight songs can even challenge stereotypes we have about certain parts of the country.
Oh, like what?
Well, take the Southeast, for example. We often think of it as holding on to tradition, right?
Yeah, that's the general perception.
But their fight songs tell a different story.
Really?
Oh, yeah. And that's just one of the fascinating things we're going to uncover today.
I'm intrigued.
To break it all down, we have an expert with us who's done some really cool analysis of college fight song lyrics from all over the U.S. So when you first started digging into this data, what really stood out to you? What were you like, whoa, got to look into this further?
Honestly, it's how much you can learn about a whole culture just from the words they use in something as simple as a fight song. Researchers call certain lyrics, and I love this term, man-based.
Man-based. Okay, I got to hear more about this.
Think about phrases like, fight, team fight, or lines about winning for the men.
Oh, okay. So not just any mention of men, but like a real focus on a certain, masculine vibe.
Exactly. And when you look at where these man-based fight songs are most common, you see some really interesting patterns. It's like they're clustered in certain areas.
So you're talking about an actual visual map here.
Yeah. Picture a map of the U.S. with a dot for every college. And those dots are color-coded. Blue for schools with these man-based fight songs, and pink for those that don't.
All right, I'm picturing it. What does it show us?
Well, if you look at the Midwest, the Big Ten Conference especially, you see a whole lot of blue, like a sea of it. It's a real hot spot for those more traditional man-based lyrics.
Now, I got to admit, I would have thought the Southeast, with its reputation for traditional values, would look pretty similar to the Midwest on that map, but you're telling me it doesn't?
Nope, not at all. And that's what's so fascinating. Down south, especially in the SEC, it's mostly pink. Meaning they don't tend to use that type of language in their fight songs.
Okay, hold on. I'm officially mind blown. So we got to figure out what's going on with the SEC. How do they end up so different from what we might expect?
Well, a big part of it has to do with history. A lot of those Big Ten schools were founded way back in the late 1800s.
Ah, so their songs were written in a different time with different social norms.
Exactly. Back then, that kind of language was just the way people talked. It was the norm. Take the University of Michigan's fight song, The Victors. Right. It was written in 1898 and has that line about being champions of the West. That reflects a time when college, sports, even most institutions were largely dominated by men.
So these lyrics are like little time capsules, capturing the language of a very specific era.
I like that, time capsules. And yeah, you're right. And the SEC schools, many of them being founded later, they didn't have that same starting point. They just began with different language altogether.
Okay, so it's not necessarily that the Southeast was intentionally more progressive back then. It's more about the timing and what was considered normal when their schools and songs came about.
Exactly. For example, look at the University of Alabama's fight song, Yay, Alabama. It does mention Southern men, but the overall theme emphasizes unity and pride. Stuff that goes beyond just one gender, with lines like, fight on, fight on, fight on men, remember the Rose Bowl, we'll win then.
So cultural change, it doesn't always come from some massive revolution. Sometimes it's these subtle shifts in language over time. Fascinating.
Absolutely. And, when you view that map of the U.S. through different lenses, say urban versus rural areas, even more interesting stuff pops up.
Oh yeah, the city versus country dynamic. What did the research say about that?
Well, there's a definite correlation. Urban areas, especially on the coasts, tend to have more of those non-man-based fight songs. Think cities like, Los Angeles, New York, Boston. Those places known for diverse cultures and change happening quickly.
Makes sense.
Makes you wonder if being exposed to so many different viewpoints in cities speeds up those shifts in language. It's not a sure thing, but it's a really interesting question.
It's like those cities are incubators for how we use language and the ideas behind it, and then that spreads outwards. It makes me think about where I live and how its culture might be showing up in local traditions, songs, even just the way people talk. What about you? How does that play out in your city?
That's a great question to think about.
Now, before we wrap up, we got to mention conferences. We've been talking about these fight songs within the context of the Big Ten, the SEC, and so on. Did you notice anything about those specific groupings that stood out?
Definitely. When you zoom out on that map and look at it by conference, each one's got its own unique pattern. It really highlights how strong regional identity can be. Like, it even affects something as small and fun as a fight song.
It's kind of wild, right? These songs we think of as just about school spirit, they're actually these little cultural artifacts. They give us a peek into the values and history of different regions, how they change and stay the same.
It's amazing what you can find hiding in plain sight.
Exactly. We started this whole deep dive asking what fight song lyrics could tell us about ourselves and our culture. And wow, it's been a fascinating journey. We've uncovered some unexpected stuff about how language evolves, how regional identity plays a role. It's really incredible. It makes you wonder, what other everyday things might be packed with these hidden cultural messages? I bet there's tons. Keep your eyes peeled. You might be surprised by what you notice.
Absolutely. It's all around us, waiting to be discovered.
Thanks for taking this deep dive with us. And hey, if you got any thoughts about all this, let us know. We love hearing from you.
Thanks for having me. This was really fun.
Until next time, keep...